A warrior born from prophecy, a prince destined to defend his city, and a battle so legendary its echoes still ring through history. Achilles wasn't just the greatest warrior of the Trojan War. He was the godlike destroyer of men, unstoppable on the battlefield. And when his dearest friend was slain, he became something even more terrifying. A man consumed by vengeance. This is the story of Achilles' origins and how his rage led him to kill Hector, the champion of Troy, in single combat. Achilles wasn't just any mortal, he was born for greatness. His father was Peleus, a mighty warrior king. His mother was Thetis, a sea nymph so beautiful that both Zeus and Poseidon desired her. But the gods feared a prophecy. The son of Thetis will be greater than his father. Fearing they would be overthrown, the gods forced Thetis to marry a mortal, ensuring that her child wouldn't surpass them. Yet Thetis refused to let her son be ordinary. According to legend, she dipped Achilles into the river Styx, making his body invincible, except for the one place she held him, his heel. But Achilles' destiny wasn't just about power, it was about choice. The fates gave him two paths. A long but forgettable life, a short but eternal legend. Achilles chose glory. And that choice would lead him to Troy, where his name would become immortal. The Trojan War started over a woman, Helen of Sparta, the most beautiful woman in the world. When she was taken by Paris, Prince of Troy, the Greek kings launched a massive war campaign to bring her back. But they knew one thing: they could not win without Achilles. At first, Achilles' mother tried to hide him, disguising him as a girl among the daughters of King Lycomedes, but Odysseus, the master trickster, exposed him. Achilles wasn't meant to live in hiding. He grabbed a sword and shield, and the moment he did, his fate was sealed. He joined the Greek army, and when he landed on the shores of Troy, he was unstoppable. No Trojan could stand against him. He slaughtered warriors by the hundreds. Even the gods watched him with fear. But there was one man who stood between Achilles and total victory: Hector, Prince of Troy. And fate had already decided that only one of them would survive. Achilles was the Greeks' greatest warrior, but for much of the war he refused to fight. Why? Because of his pride. King Agamemnon, leader of the Greeks, had insulted him, taking away his war prize, the maiden Briseis. Furious, Achilles withdrew from battle, leaving the Greeks vulnerable. And that's when disaster struck. With Achilles refusing to fight, the Trojans, led by Hector, began pushing the Greeks back. Desperate, Patroclus, Achilles' closest friend, or possibly even his lover, begged him to return, but Achilles refused. Instead, he gave Patroclus his armor and sent him into battle as his stand-in. At first, the Trojans believed Patroclus was Achilles, and they fled in terror. But then Hector stepped forward. And in a brutal duel, Hector slew Patroclus, stripping him of Achilles' armor and leaving his body in the dust. Fueled by an unquenchable thirst for vengeance, Achilles vowed to make Hector pay for his friend's death. When Achilles heard of his friend's death, his grief turned to pure, unstoppable rage. And now he wanted only one thing: revenge. Achilles didn't just return to battle, he became a force of destruction. His rage was so terrifying that even the gods took notice. Hera, queen of the gods, ordered Hephaestus to forge him new armor, a shield so strong it could not be broken. Zeus himself declared that Achilles would now turn the tide of the war. And every Trojan knew Hector was doomed. When Achilles entered battle, he didn't fight like a man, he fought like a god. He butchered Trojan soldiers without mercy. He drove the Trojans back inside their walls. He became death itself, walking the battlefield. And then he called out one name. Hector! Come out and face me! Hector, the defender of Troy, knew he couldn't run. He had killed Patroclus, and now Achilles was coming for him. But when he saw Achilles charging toward him, covered in god-forged armor, moving faster than any mortal should, Hector felt fear. He ran. Around the walls of Troy, 3 times Hector fled, with Achilles chasing him like a lion hunting its prey. But finally Hector stopped. He turned to face Achilles, and the greatest duel of the Trojan War began. Spear against spear, shield against shield, godlike strength against godlike fury. Hector fought bravely, but he was no match for Achilles' divine speed. With a final strike, Achilles drove his spear through Hector's throat. Troy's greatest warrior fell. But Achilles' rage wasn't satisfied. He refused to give Hector a proper burial. Instead, he tied the prince's body to his chariot and dragged it through the dirt, humiliating him before the walls of Troy. Even in death, Hector found no peace. Achilles had avenged Patroclus. He had slain Hector. But his fate was sealed. Hector's last words had been a prophecy. You may kill me, but soon you too will die. And he was right. Soon after, Achilles would meet his own death, struck down by an arrow to his one weak spot, his heel. But that is a story for another time. A warrior born for greatness, a prince who fought to save his city, a duel so legendary its story has lasted for thousands of years. Achilles wasn't just a fighter, he was a god among men, but his rage, it was both his power and his doom. Want to hear the final chapter of Achilles' story, the prophecy of his death and how the greatest warrior of Greece finally fell? Like and subscribe for more mythological legends.